Hi everyone, hope you are all well. I am so happy spring is finally here. We get a bit more sunshine and I really want to create this like peachy smoky eye. I thought it went really well with the theme. It's not like too crazy colors, it's really nice and neutral. So to start with, I'm using my YSL Touche ECLAT Blur Primer. I've been using this for quite a bit now. I really love how it gives that like glowy effect after I apply my foundation, and it just helps to really blend everything out, and yeah, I just love it. And I'm using my new Star foundation, which I talked about in my recent haul. This again gives a really nice glow to the skin. I've really been loving this because, to be honest, in London right now we're not getting that much sun, so I feel like my skin has been looking really gloomy, and as this is like a spring look, I want it to look really healthy, glowy, and just really nice and dewy. Next thing I'm using is my MILANI brow kit. This one needs replacing because it's almost finished. I'm just making my brows quite nice and bold, brushing it out and then applying this pencil by MAC, just because when you brush it out it makes it look more natural and you haven't got like blobs for eyebrows. Next thing I'm adding is my beloved Eden primer, just to neutralize the eyes, and it helps everything last very long. Eyeshadow base wise, this one is the eyeshadow base by by NYX, and then I'm adding Coffee by MAC just to the corner of my outer eyes, because we're gonna blend this out now with a smaller fluffy brush. And basically what this does is it's really going to help frame the eyes, especially if you've got hooded lids like me. And what I'm doing here, see, is blending it out and applying a bit more of that pencil just so you get enough depth. Next I'm adding this really nice peach shade to the inner lids. This is Peaches and Cream by Makeup Geek, and I'm just patting this on densely, and then I'm going to use Creme Brulee with a fluffy brush just to sort of smooth out the edges, and it's like going to be my transition shade. So I'm adding a few layers of that and blending it out with a fluffy brush. Next I'm using MOCHA by Makeup Geek. This is a darker brown, and using a smaller, denser brush, what I'm doing is dabbing it on instead of like blending it all out, and I'm just only dabbing it on the outer corners rather than just everywhere, because I only want the outer bit smoked out, if that makes sense. Next I'm using a combination of these two shades, the brown and the black, and a very small dense brush. What I'm doing is dabbing it to the corner of my eyes again, but a bit more precisely and carefully this time. When you're working with darker colours, you've got to be careful. It's better to layer them on, so add a little bit to the corner of the eyes and blend it out with a fluffy brush, basically what I'm doing now. And then I'm using my Maybelline black gel liner. I've loved this eyeliner, like I'm nearly finished. I prefer it over my Bobbi Brown one, strangely. I don't know, it just blends out really well. I'm creating like a cat eye effect, but you see I'm adding it on quite thinly. I don't want to make it too thick just because it will take away the eyeshadow, because my lids are quite like hooded. And see, I'm first creating a line across where I want the shape to be, and then I'm gonna fill in that gap, if that makes sense, what I'm doing now, and just really smoothing out that line. Okay, I've added mascara, curled my lashes, and now I'm adding these Ardell Whispies, just because they're really natural and I just love them. Next is for the concealer. I'm adding the MAC Prolongwear in NC20. This is just going to help highlight my face. See, I'm adding it to the areas where I want to highlight, so the bridge of my nose, my temple, my chin, and around my nose as well. I love this concealer. It doesn't crease, it literally stays on all day. I just love it. And I'm using like this stippling brush to blend everything out. Also, what I'm doing here is I'm using a beauty blender. This one's by Real Techniques and it's a bit damp as well, so I just added a bit of water to it before I used it. And basically what this does is it's really going to make your concealer blend in really well into your skin, and it will just look absolutely flawless. And then I'm adding a bit of the creamy concealer by NARS just to the areas where I want extra highlight, so just under my eyes. I haven't used this highlighter in so long. It was one of my favorites ever. This is the e.l.f. highlighter. I forgot the name of it. I think it's the champagne one, and it's a creamy texture and it just blends out so well into the skin. Next I'm adding the BENAI setting powder, the banana powder one, and I'm just using the back of my beauty blender to sort of layer that on and to let that concealer bake, to let the powder bake onto the concealer. While that's baking, I'm adding the LA Girl concealer, the brown one. I forgot the name of the shade. I'll link everything down below. And I'm blending it out with this Real Techniques brush, just to add a really nice soft contour and to get ready for the powder contour that I'm going to use. I just find it a bit easier to contour once I've got the cream on. And then what I'm doing is contouring my jawline, and this just helps bring it up and sharpens it, if that makes sense. It just puts everything together, the whole look. And I'm going to warm up the forehead area just because it just helps everything come together, and it makes your head look smaller for those of you with big heads like me. Basically sweeping off the excess baking powder, the BENAI powder with a fluffy brush, really gently. You want to make sure all the excess powder is off, just because if you keep too much on it will cake. Next I'm using my new Panama, I think it's called. I'll link it down below. Like I said, I never remember the names because I just have so many, and I'm using it as a powder contour slash bronzer, and I'm also using it a little bit on my nose just because it just helps contour the nose a bit and make everything put together. Now what I'm doing here is I just want to tidy up the contour, so I added a bit of that BENAI powder just to sharpen it and make it look nice, contoured, neat and fleeky. And now I'm adding the RIMMEL nude pencil just to brighten up the eyes a bit. This is a spring look, I want it nice and bright. And then I'm just lining my waterline, not waterline, just under the waterline, to make the eyes really pop. And you want to make sure you join the bottom liner with the top, just like I did there. For the blush I'm using Luster. I am obsessed with this palette. It's got the most beautiful blushes ever. This one's got a bit of a shimmer to it. It just really adds to that dewy glow look that I was going for. And now for my most favourite part, which is the highlighter. I'm using my most favourite one, which is Soft and Gentle by MAC. And I've been using this small fan brush to apply it, and I feel like it just gives the most natural highlight to the face, instead of like using a denser brush which just adds so much highlighter on. So I've been really loving that brush. And now I'm going to use this Rimmel Cappuccino lip liner just to darken the lips a bit, since we're going for a slightly darker nude colour, which is, I hope I'm saying this right, Pigalle by NARS. I love this. And then I lined it again just because it kind of took away the liner, I think because of the way I applied it. But anyway, this is the finished look. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. And please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This crazy feeling going through my skin, a heartbeat and a silence going on and on, and you just told me
just flying so high.